Hey everyone, welcome back to the GM Realm. Today I want to talk about the huge, massive, big Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 patch 3.0, which has just been dropped in the game. So today I want to talk about that, and we've got a whole bunch of information to get through today. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and drop a like. It really helps and supports my channel, and let's get into it. So the first piece of greetings that we got in the update, it says, "Greetings Marines, the newest patch for Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 is now live, packed with new features, and yes, it brings ultra-wide support for the wider monitors that everyone has, and yes, it adds private lobbies in operations mode for anyone who has buddies that want to do it by themselves, which is always handy to do. But that's not all. There's a new sparring arena in the Battle Barge, available while in Operations or Eternal War mode. This brand new area is accessible directly from the launch bay. Once there, you'll be given your weapons and grenades as if you were in a PvP match and allowed to spar with your battle brothers ahead of your next missions. That's always cool if you want to sharpen your skills with your battle brothers. We've also introduced the option to reset custom armor and color presets by replacing them with the default ones instantly, which is very cool. I like that. You can find the complete list of improvements and changes below. We truly appreciate your reports and feedback. Thank you. Yeah, if you have any, head over to our platform Focus Together, which features an entire forum dedicated to Space Marine 2, as well as an ideas section that is reviewed by the Space Marine 2 teams, which is very cool. We hope you'll enjoy the improvements brought by this update. The Emperor protects." Very, very, very cool. So that was a new little newsletter for anyone who wants to read up on the patches, and today we're going to go through all of the patch updates in Space Marine 2. So in the first set of patch notes, we have new features: the hub sparring arena, as mentioned in the newsletter before, a new special arena on the Battle Barge available in Operations and Eternal War mode, where players can compete in friendly PvP with players in their squad. Ultra-wide support for PCs, which is very cool. Private mode for Operations mode that gives players ability to play Operation alone with bots or alongside one friend without being matchmaked with random players during the mission, which is it can get annoying, I suppose, if you get matched with someone you don't really want to be matched with and you got a mate with you. Added what's new and message of the day, which is always cool to have. Added option to reset custom color presets. Okay, moving on to the gameplay and balance tweaks, which is always interesting to read because you never know what you're going to get, what they're going to balance and fix. You know, the metas can change. It can make or break a game pretty much. I always pay attention to the gameplay and balancing. The marking tool has been updated, so you've got improved responsiveness and comfort of social wheel control with a mouse. We've disabled the unnecessary objects that do not require highlighting and worked poorly with it, and several minor bug fixes. They didn't want to mention any of those. Power Fist. So this is interesting. The Power Fist damage for fully charged attacks has been greatly increased. That's very interesting, because I did think the Power Fist was rather weak for what it was. The Heavy Plasma. Okay, base ammo increased by 5. Blast damage radius increased. Overheat per shoot drastically decreased from 50 to 30 for charged shots and from 20 to 15 for base shooting. Base damage slightly increased by 10%. I don't know why I say shoot, right? Okay, I don't know what I'm saying there. Med stims restore contested health in addition to actual healing. Okay, that's interesting. Ox grenade launcher ammo now can be refilled only with the ammo boxes and cannot be refilled from the infinity ammo cache. Okay, so that's interesting. So we cannot refill the grenade launcher from the infinite ammo cache now, people. Okay, that's quite interesting to have that. Okay, for the campaign, what has been updated for that? So difficulty. The enemy aggressiveness on veteran difficulty in campaign decreased for better single player experience. Okay. Players' health on veteran difficulty in campaign is slightly reduced to compensate for the AI aggressiveness and armor management updates. So they've sort of kept the balance there by reducing your health. So they've reduced the enemy aggressiveness and they've reduced your health to keep it that difficulty sort of balanced there. Bots. Various inhibiting restrictions were lifted, allowing bots to be more helpful and effective, while still not beating the game for the player. Okay, so the bots were doing some stuff, which I found they could have done a bit more. There was a few situations where I would have an enemy takedown indicator, the takedown kill thing you get there, and the bots would just walk past it. So I'm sure they fixed that now. Bots will now help focus firing zoanthropes when the player attacks them. Heavily eased restrictions on bots finishing off enemies instead of leaving them for the player. Okay, so that's where you need it, right? To reduce annoyance. Yes, so that was quite annoying. There we go. That's what I was. That's what I thought they were talking about there, for the restrictions inhibiting the bots from actually helping you. Heavily eased restrictions on bots finishing off enemies instead of leaving them for the player to reduce annoyance. It was annoying. It was annoying. I'm glad they fixed that. Bots are now allowed to help with the gargoyle objectives. Very cool. Fixed a variety of bugs related to bots getting stuck. Very good. Fixed a bug where bots can run out of ammo on weapons without magazine. Okay. I mean, those are very quality of life for the single player players out there that have issues with this. I mean, I had issues with the bots when I was playing by myself. You know, I do online as well, multiplayer. But there was a lot of times when the bots did not finish off the enemies. I'm glad they fixed that. Heavily eased restrictions on bots finishing off enemies instead of leaving them for the player to reduce annoyance. Thank you. Okay, so now for operations mode. So they've tweaked the AI, director, and spawn rules of chaos enemies in operations mode. So what have they done here? They've maxed number of Zangors with shield on the arena at the same time reduced from 10 to 4. Max number of cultist snipers on the arena at the same time reduced from 10 to 3. So obviously there was too many. Max number of them on the arena at the same time reduced from 30 to 20. So they're reducing the numbers there. Okay. Max number of rubric Marines with bolt guns on the arena at the same time reduced from 8 to 5. So they're pretty much reducing the numbers for that. So in operations, what else they've done? A perfect parry has been updated. It now restores armor for killing Minoris, not only for countering their special attacks. Regarding block and fencing weapons, a bug has been fixed in perfect parry window for fencing weapons. Now it has 20 frames window for perfect parry and 10 frames of vulnerability at the end of animation, instead of 30 frames of perfect parry for full animation as it was intended originally. The assault class base ground pound damage has been increased by a whopping 30%. That is very good. Armor boost drops from destructive crates are now less common. Cooldown raised from 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Okay, I mean, the assault class, the base ground pound damage has been increased by 30%. I think that is awesome because I love playing the assault class. Okay, moving on to PvP. Improved player spawn system. It should make spawn killing more difficult. So obviously if there's an enemy nearby the spawn location, most likely you won't be able to spawn there. I've come across a lot of the, mostly the snipers who have been invisible around the spawn location. They know where you're going to spawn and they just camp there and just pop your head off straight away. They've reworked the Vanguard's grapple launcher in PvP. Instead of a full stun, it will now stagger the enemy and will slow him down drastically. Use that word, drastically. Okay, moving on to the AI. So they have reduced ability to stun lock enemies with ranged attacks across all AI characters. Okay, read that again. Reduced ability to stun lock enemies with ranged attacks across all AI characters. That's pretty cool, man. That's very handy. Accuracy of ranged enemies is reduced when attacking from off screen, and accuracy of ranged enemies is reduced when attacking melee engaged players. Regarding the Homogaunts and the Zangors, melee damage now deals specific amount of damage instead of removing one complete armor segment per attack. That's very good. The Zoanthrope increased psychic scream damage sparsing time from 0.5 seconds to 2 seconds to prevent one-shot damage. And the psychic scream damage reduced from 11 to 8, and the psychic scream effect range reduced from 50 to 40. The Psychic Scream cast range is reduced by 10 meters. Termagant. Flesh Borer spray attack damage reduced from 1 to 0.5, and the Flash Borer spray attack damage reduced from 0.3 to 0.1. So they're just reducing that for us. Tyranid Warrior with the Devourer projectile damage reduced from 0.9 to 0.6 per projectile. So they've made them a little bit less damage to the player there. Rubric Marine with the Warp Flamer. Icon of the flame damage reduced from 9 to 6. Burst damage reduced from 6 to 4. And the shooting damage reduced from 6 to 4 per projectile. Health reduced by 10%. The Warp Flamer was a bit beefy for my liking, so I'm glad they've reduced that a little bit for us. Okay, and we got the Rubric Marine with the bolt gun. Spray attack damage reduced by 1.5 to 1. Precise shot attack with red indicator damage reduced from 4 to 2 per projectile. Reduced frequency of teleports used to disengage players to make them less annoying to fight. Health reduced by 10%. The Zangor with shield, HP greatly reduced. The Carnifex rage phase updated. The Carnifex becomes faster and more aggressive. Taunt frequency has been reduced, that's good. Fixed a bug where his Cone of Thorns attack wouldn't fire projectiles. Yes, I have come across that bug actually. The Hive Tyrant, health slightly increased. Resistance to explosives and melter weapons increased by 20%. Okay, I mean that's good I guess. The Hive Tyrant was a bit resistant to explosives and melter weapons, I thought. Okay, moving on to customization. We fixed the icon color for the Administratum Grey, Auroric Armor Gold, and the Celestra Grey colors. Fixed several issues with default colors being wrong on some chapters, i.e. Iron Warriors. Vanguard Relic Right Greave part now requires 29 victories instead of 36. That's pretty good. Added a color pattern called Greaves Pattern, allowing the player to customize bottom and top half of the legs separately. That's quite handy. I like the coloring of the customization here. It's very good. And onto maps. Let's see what they've done with the maps here. So they fixed several issues that were preventing players from aggressing within some levels. Fixed a lot of minor collision issues. Tweaked dust storm density and duration in ballistic engine operation. They've also tweaked the Helldrake fire timings on the bridge of the Reliquary operation. Trials can now be accessed via the Hypnomat in the armory. That's pretty good. I like that. You can access the trials from the armory. Yeah, I actually have done that before. Yeah, that is cool. And onto the very last of the patch update, the general fixes. So they fixed a bug where changing loadout mid-operation would restore your health. Improved jump back ability responsiveness. Fixed several issues in trials. So they did have some issues in trials, but they fixed all that. Fixed a bug where in some rare cases controls would stop working after performing a finisher. Yes, I have come across that. I'm glad they fixed that. Fixed a bug where player does not receive armor data from the Hellbrute spawn from Chaos Portal. Fixed the bug that caused Vanguard's Adrenaline Rush perk description to show 1% instead of the actual 10%. They've also fixed the announcer spam in Eternal War mode. Yes, I have come across that. Fixed multiple ways of duplicating ammo in operations mode. Fixed a bug where the grapnel launcher would get cancelled if overlapped by small geometry. Fixed a bug where tactical perk Emperor's Vengeance did not work with the plasma incinerator. They've also fixed a bug where several weapons could restore more than actual contested health, i.e. melters, AoE weapons, etc. Fixed several issues that were causing loss of saves. Fixed an unidentified voice at the end of the story that was assigned to the wrong character. I'm glad they fixed that one. Lots of minor UI user interface fixes and improvements, and lots of minor animation fixes and improvements, localization fixes. So just general fixes, you know, annoying bugs that people have come across, and they just pretty much improved the game as a whole through this 3.0 patch. It was a fairly beefy update for Space Marine 2. I'm just so happy that they fixed some of the things that I didn't like. There was only one or two things I didn't like. It was the bot AI was not helping out enough during the missions, and yeah, a lot of the multiplayer updates and fixes. So all around, it has been awesome that they've given us this huge massive update for Space Marine 2, and I hope you guys are all drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now, Battle Brothers.